The Djinn's Bride, Chapter 1. The whisper in the walls. Claire couldn't sleep that night. The house was silent. The clock showed to 17 a.m. Moonlight filtered through the blinds. Even her dog, Moose, lay still at the foot of her bed. Then she heard it. A whisper. Soft. Close. Familiar. It said her name. Claire. ... She sat up quickly. The whisper hadn't come from outside. It had come from inside the wall. She stared at the wall beside her desk. It looked normal. Drywall posters. A tarot card pinned crookedly. Nothing unusual. Then she heard it again. Claire. The voice was closer. Inside the wall. As if something was standing behind it. Watching her. Calling her. Knock. She barely breathed. Moose didn't react. She checked her phone. 2:18 a.m. No missed calls. She turned on her flashlight. There were no cracks in the wall. No vents. No sound. But the silence felt alive. She didn't sleep the rest of the night. Next morning, the fear was still with her. The whisper echoed in her memory. At breakfast, her mother said, "You look tired, Claire." She didn't reply. She barely touched her food. No one else had heard anything. That night, after her shower, she came into her room. The mirror above her desk was fogged, but one part was clear. 3 words were written in the glass. "You are mine," she gasped and backed away. The fog cleared. The words vanished. She wiped the glass. Nothing. She looked at Moose. He was sitting up now, ears alert. "You saw it too, didn't you?" The dog growled low, then turned his head away. 3 nights later, the whisper came again. She was wearing headphones. Listened to sleep sounds. Ocean waves. Gentle wind. Then something changed. A voice behind her ear. It said one word. Bride. Claire ripped the headphones off. She sat up, trembling. Then she heard it. The closet door creaking open. She stood, walked toward it slowly, pulled the door open. Clothes, boxes, shoes, and something on the floor. A folded piece of paper. She picked it up. It was a child's drawing. She had made it years ago. A house. A girl with brown hair. A black shadow behind her. Red eyes. At the bottom, it said, "My friend who talks to me when I sleep." Claire dropped the paper. Her hands shook. This drawing had been burned. She remembered her mom had destroyed it when she was 6. But here it was, folded, waiting, as if it had never left. The whisper stopped. But the silence didn't feel peaceful. It felt patient. Like something was waiting. Claire didn't sleep for 3 nights. She taped the closet door shut. She moved her desk away from the wall. She even downloaded ghost hunting apps on her phone. But nothing helped. Every night, her room felt colder, heavier, as if the shadows were watching her. Sunday evening, Claire finally told someone. Her best friend, Alyssa. They were sitting in Alyssa's car, outside a coffee shop. Claire spoke in a whisper, like someone might hear. "I think something's in my room." Alyssa looked up. "Like what?" "I don't know, but I've been hearing whispers and seeing things." Alyssa leaned forward. Her smile faded. She lowered her voice. "My cousin had that happen last year." Voices. Dreams. Drawings she didn't remember making. Turned out there was something attached to her family. Something old. Claire blinked. "What happened to her cousin?" Alyssa hesitated. She moved. They had some guy come in and do a cleansing. A Muslim exorcist, I think. And a mom. From Albuquerque. Claire's chest tightened. She didn't want to believe it, but something deep inside her already did. That night, Claire stayed awake again. She kept the lights on. Kept her phone recording in case something happened. At 3:03 a.m., the lights flickered. Once, twice, then off. Her phone screen lit up. The recording was still running, but the camera showed something else. Her reflection in the mirror, staring straight ahead. But Claire wasn't facing the mirror. She was lying down, still, frozen. The reflection was moving, but she wasn't. Her heart stopped. She forced her hand to reach over. turned the phone toward the mirror. Now the mirror was empty, just her, alone. But on the mirror's surface, something was written again. "You are chosen." She dropped the phone. It hit the carpet, recording everything. Morning came. She played the footage. There was one moment where the screen glitched, just one frame. But she paused it, zoomed in. Behind her reflection, a shadow stood, tall, no face, two glowing eyes. It wasn't a trick of the light. It was there, watching her. Right behind her, she showed Alyssa the video. Alyssa turned pale. "That's not a ghost," she whispered. "It's a djinn." Claire frowned. "A what?" "A djinn, not a ghost, not a demon. Something older." Alyssa grabbed her phone. "I'm calling my cousin." Later that night, Claire received a message, a number she didn't recognize. Just a voice memo. She played it. A man's voice, calm and deep, spoke one sentence in Arabic. Then a click. The words echoed in her head. She didn't understand them, but her body reacted anyway. Her hands started shaking. Tears welled in her eyes. The back of her neck turned cold. Something inside her whispered the translation. "You are already his." Claire ran to the bathroom, locked the door, turned on the light. She stared into the mirror. Her own eyes stared back, but they looked wrong, like someone else was behind them. Someone looking out. She blinked. The reflection didn't. Tuesday night, Claire didn't leave her room the entire day. She stayed in bed with the lights on. Her phone was in her hand constantly. She didn't play music. She didn't check Instagram. She just waited. Every little sound made her flinch. The house creaked in places it never had before. The air felt heavy and strange. Moose sat in the hallway and refused to enter her room. Even he sensed it. At 2:51 a.m., Claire opened her eyes. She hadn't fallen asleep. She was too scared to blink. The room was completely dark. The lamp she had left on was off. Her phone screen wouldn't turn on. It was dead. There was no wind, but she could feel something move. Not in the room, inside the wall. She sat up slowly. The wall on her left seemed to pulse, like it was breathing. Then she heard it, a voice. It wasn't a whisper this time. It was a chant, deep, ancient. It was in a language she didn't recognize, but it vibrated in her bones. She couldn't move. She couldn't scream. The air smelled like burnt paper, an old perfume. Something scratched the inside of the wall. Slow, deliberate. Then, a crack opened, right down the middle of the drywall, like the wall was splitting. Not from outside pressure, but from something inside. Pushing out, she grabbed her blanket and backed against the opposite wall. Her heart was pounding so loud, she thought she might pass out. The crack grew longer. Then it stopped. Silence. Then one word, bride. It came from the wall, but also from inside her own head. She squeezed her eyes shut. When she opened them, the wall was normal again. No crack, no smell. The lamp was on. Her phone lit up. 3:03 a.m. She looked around. Everything looked exactly as it had before, except for one thing. There was a black handprint on her ceiling, upside down, like someone had crawled across it. Claire didn't scream. She simply lay there, silent, terrified, waiting for morning. She didn't sleep. She couldn't. The next day, she wore sunglasses and a hoodie to school. Alyssa saw her and pulled her aside. "You look worse." Claire showed her the video frame again. The shadow, the red eyes. Alyssa took a long breath. "I talked to my cousin's mom," she said. "She said, you need to find something." "What?" "A talisman, a seal, something your family might have passed down. It would have been made to protect someone from being claimed. Claimed by the Djinn." Claire felt dizzy. She didn't remember anything like that. Nothing passed down. Nothing old or religious in her house. Then she remembered her grandmother's trunk. It was still in the attic, sealed since the day her nana died.